Hey, so I'm back. I made it. Got my prescriptions. Had 3 of them that were ready. And I got to thinking about something while I was picking them up that I don't think he's on blood thinners, because this is every time I have gone in to fill these prescriptions or have gotten them filled, I get the same thing from the pharmacist that I get from the doctor. And that is the no alcohol thing, because it fucks with the medication and shit. So, although it was said that like a beer every once in a blue moon isn't going to have that adverse of an effect, but if you would have seen him on last night's stream, he's freaking slamming them back because he's a drunken sot. And if he's doing that, he's not on blood thinners. If you're slamming back beers like that, you ain't doing blood thinners. And if you are, that just shows that you, frankly, don't give a shit about yourself. The fortunate thing for me is I quit drinking 30 years ago, so it doesn't matter. And that's what I told the doctors. Boy, that's an old railroad building. Lived in this town all this time and don't recall ever seeing it. But yeah, I was contemplating that. I'm like, I'm picking up these medicines at the pharmacy, and the pharmacist comes out and explains to me about a couple of them that I take, and made it clear about no alcohol when you're taking these, because it can have an adverse effect. So that's how I know he's not taking fucking blood thinners. Or he's taking the blood thinners and he doesn't give a rat's ass about the consequences. Which that is more likely the scenario, considering that he's been booted out of multiple places over the past few years. The place before he moved into the mansion, he got booted out of that. And he said that people there had been accusing him of stealing food. Which wouldn't surprise me in the least. What matter, bud? Hey, dogs aren't used to this. I get barked at by dogs all the time because Frankly, they're not used to seeing something like this. Throws them off. It's like, what the fuck? No viewers. Again, I don't care. Hey, look at there. There's one of them little pantry things. I'll be doggone. Whew. Well, I don't need anything. I got groceries. And this part of the trip is not necessarily yeah, this is not a must-have trip. But since I'm working on that model, that big old Seaview submarine, I got to get some special glue, and that's only available at a hobby shop. So I picked up my medicine, and now I'm heading up that way to the hobby shop, which is like a spit and a holler away from my apartment. The problem with the hobby shop and where it's at is it's across the railroad tracks, and they don't have a decent sidewalk built across the railroad tracks there. So I actually have to get out in the street, which is not too bad. I'll turn on, I don't have my lights on right now, but I'm fixing to stop and turn them on here pretty quick. Because I've been kind of on side streets for the most part. Oh yeah, I'm going to be going out in the street here. Someone didn't clear their sidewalks. Hang on a minute, I'll turn this stuff on. I turn them on front and back, just in case. I've got white ones on the front that flash, and I've got red ones on the back that flash as well. Because I'm going to be out in the street amongst the traffic for a little bit anyway. But this is 33rd Street, so it's not near as busy as 27th. But I'll still watch behind me, and I'll only be on the street for about another 2 blocks. And then there's the bike trail right here. I mean, this town does make it pretty easy to, and if you're wondering why I keep looking down, I have a mirror on the left side of the trike so I can see what's coming up behind me. And that way I can either get over or make sure they're not coming up too fast where they're going to hit me. And the other nice thing about this little spurt right here is it's slightly downhill. So I don't have to pedal as hard. Food pantry, Tuesday and Thursday, 2 to 5. Connection point. And see, now I've got a couple of cars coming up behind me now. And fortunately, let's hope We're going to see if I can jump up here and get across this street. Ah. This isn't the bike path. And I can see that I'm going to be going back out in the street. So I can get on that, the bike trail is like right across the street here. And believe it or not, we have an International Quilt Museum, QUILT, quilt, as in quilt, as in the thing that's on beds. We actually have not just a national, but an international quilt museum. So if you're into that sort of thing, come on up, check out the museum. I've never been to it, so couldn't tell you if it was worth it or not. I don't have a clue. Don't have a clue. And here we're jumping up on an actual bike trail. And they keep these pretty clear. I'm telling you, it's pretty wild. You know, it's really the bike trail system in this town has really gone up over the years. I mean, it used to be a pretty minimal thing. Around town. And then when the railroad started closing up a lot of their stuff, that's where a lot of the trails are now. They're on the old railway lines. One of the biggest ones that closed was the Rock Island. And that's also left Lincoln with one of the larger and longer bike trails, as well as a connector to the other bike trail. It damn near goes all the way across town. So yeah, I like days like this, even though it's about 35 degrees. My little thermometer thing there says 36. It's not so cold that you can barely stand to be out, but it's not so hot that you're dripping with sweat 5 minutes after you go out the door either. So, well, you know what? Since I'm not getting any viewers, I'm going to stop at the top of this hill. Whew. Boy.